Rain hammered the backroads of rural Pennsylvania, a cold, relentless storm that erased the line between sky and earth. Sarah Whitmore's old pickup groaned through the darkness, its wipers fighting the downpour. She was bone-tired. Another late shift, another night holding her world together by sheer will. The heater barely worked, and her thoughts drifted to her son asleep under his fox-shaped nightlight. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw him. A man, tall, black, limping, dragging himself through the rain with a torn backpack and eyes fixed on nothing. Something in the way he moved made her chest tighten. Not fear, but recognition. She slowed, then almost kept going. "Don't stop," her mind whispered. "It's not safe." But she did. Her headlights caught the scar running down his face. A flash of pain and pride mingled in his stare. "You lost," she called out through the window. His voice came steady, low. "No, ma'am. Just out of places to go." For a long second, the world was nothing but rain between them. Then she reached across the seat and unlocked the door. That sound, the soft click in the dark, was where everything changed. What came next would shatter every quiet rule she'd lived by. If this moment grips you, stay with us. Like and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where true stories of courage and compassion begin with a single choice. Under the relentless sound of rain, Sarah's headlights cut through the mist as the man, Terence Hampton, climbed into the passenger seat. The air between them was thick with cold and quiet, the kind of silence that hides stories too heavy to tell. Water dripped from his jacket onto the cracked vinyl seat, and Sarah's hands trembled slightly as she gripped the wheel. She wasn't afraid of him. She was afraid of what the world would think if they saw her here, alone at night, helping a stranger the town would never trust. Terence stared ahead, his jaw set. The rhythmic hiss of the wipers filled the space where words didn't. "You live around here?" he finally asked, his voice low and even. "Brayfield," she said. "Just a few miles up." He nodded, then winced, shifting his leg. Sarah noticed the pain ripple through him but said nothing. He didn't ask for pity, and she didn't offer it. Still, something about him, the way he sat so rigidly, the faint tremor in his fingers, spoke of someone who had been fighting battles long after the war had ended. When they reached her small house, Sarah unlocked the door and motioned him inside. "You can dry off here. The couch isn't much, but it's warm." He hesitated on the porch, the rain cascading off his hood. "You sure about this?" "I wouldn't have stopped if I wasn't," she replied softly. Inside, the glow from the fireplace cast long shadows across the room. The smell of cinnamon lingered from her shift at the bakery. Terence stood awkwardly near the door, his eyes scanning the modest space. Handmade curtains, a faded photo of a man in uniform, a child's drawing taped to the fridge. "You served?" Sarah asked, pointing toward the photo. "My father," she said quickly. "He did." Terence nodded once. "So did I." The words landed like a stone in still water. Sarah poured him a cup of tea and sat across from him, watching steam curl in the air between them. "You can rest here tonight," she said. "No questions." He looked at her then, eyes sharp but tired. "You'd be surprised how few people mean that." She met his gaze. "Then maybe that's their problem." Morning came gray and heavy. The rain had eased, leaving behind the scent of wet earth and wood smoke. Sarah woke to find the couch empty, the blanket folded neatly. On the table lay a medal, a purple heart, its ribbon frayed but proud. Beneath it, a note written in careful block letters. "You reminded me I still matter." Her breath caught. She pressed the medal to her chest, not out of pride, but out of reverence. That afternoon, as she walked to the mailbox, she noticed two men watching her from across the street. Their conversation stopped when she looked up. One of them, a sheriff's deputy, tilted his hat, his gaze cold. She turned away, the back of her neck prickling. Inside the mailbox was a thick envelope stamped Maple Ridge Credit Union. Foreclosure notice. 30 days. Her stomach sank. The house her father built, the garden her son tended. It would all be gone. But Sarah didn't break. Not then. She folded the letter, placed it beside the purple heart and whispered, "Not yet." Days blurred into weeks. The bakery cut her hours again. Bills piled up. The town, once polite, now watched her differently. Sideways glances at the grocery store, whispers that traveled faster than truth. At the bakery, her friend Nora noticed. "You're quiet," she said, scrubbing down the counter. "What's going on?" Sarah hesitated, then told her everything. The man, the medal, the letter. Nora leaned back, eyes wide. "You brought a stranger into your house, and now people are talking." Sarah wiped her hands. "Let them." But that night, when she found the words "white sympathizer" sprayed across her mailbox in red paint, her resolve cracked. Liam, her 8-year-old son, saw it before she did. "What does that mean, Mom?" Sarah crouched down, her voice steady. "It means some people don't understand kindness yet." The next day, Sheriff Dunning came by under the guise of a routine check. His tone was heavy with judgment. "Sarah, you should be careful who you bring home. Folks around here don't forget." She met his stare. "Neither do I." He smiled thinly. "Don't make trouble where there isn't any." But trouble was already brewing. 3 days later, the letter arrived. Official, signed, sealed. Her property would be repossessed. The same afternoon, a black sedan stopped at the edge of her driveway. Terrence stepped out. Clean uniform, posture firm, 2 other officers with him. "Morning, Sarah," he said. Her throat tightened. "You came back." "I said I would." He handed her a folder. "Your mortgage is cleared. Paid in full by the Department of Veterans Affairs. You helped a soldier when no one else did." They decided that should mean something. Sarah froze. "You did this." He shook his head. "You did." Tears blurred her vision. Liam ran out barefoot, clutching his stuffed fox. "Mom, is that the man from the rain?" Sarah nodded, laughing through tears. "Yeah, baby. That's him." For a brief moment, everything felt right again. But peace in Brayfield never lasted long. 2 weeks later, another envelope came. This time from Mayfield Redevelopment. A legal claim on her backlit. The same Sheriff Dunning had signed the clearance. She stormed into the county office, letter in hand. "This land was my father's," she said. The man behind the desk didn't even look up. Then he should have filed better paperwork. Back home, she called Terrence. "They're trying to take the land again." He exhaled hard. "Don't sign anything. I'll handle it." Within days, a lawyer named Valerie Knox arrived. Sharp, calm, relentless. She uncovered what Sarah had suspected. Dunning had been working with Mayfield, exchanging signatures for kickbacks. They'd planned to seize veteran-donated land and resell it to developers. When Valerie filed the complaint, the town turned electric. Local reporters gathered outside the courthouse. The night before the hearing, Sarah stood in her yard, the garden dark and silent. "If they want a fight," she whispered, "I'll give them one." But before dawn, orange light flickered against her window. She rushed outside. The field behind her house was burning. Flames tore through the garden, racing toward the shed. "Liam!" she screamed. "Get to the truck." Then through the smoke, headlights appeared. Terrence's SUV skidded to a stop. He and 2 men leapt out with fire extinguishers, battling the blaze with desperate precision. Heat shimmered, smoke clawed at the sky. Sirens wailed in the distance. When it was over, the garden was half gone, but the house still stood. Terrence collapsed onto the porch, coughing, his jacket singed. "Why?" she asked. He looked up at her, eyes fierce through the soot. "Because you fought for me first." The next morning, the county was alive with scandal. Photos of Dunning's emails to Mayfield executives surfaced, exposing years of corruption. Valerie presented them in court, her voice cutting through the room like steel. Then came Sarah's turn. She rose slowly, her voice trembling at first, then steady. "This land fed veterans, children, neighbors. Fed hope. And they tried to steal it for greed. I won't let them." The room fell silent. The vote was unanimous. The land was restored, protected under federal statute. Sheriff Dunning was led away in handcuffs, his badge stripped from his chest as cameras flashed. Outside, the air smelled of rain again, but this time it was clean. Terrence stood beside her, quiet. "You did it," he said. Sarah looked at him, eyes soft but fierce. "No, we did." Weeks passed. The garden slowly grew back, stubborn and alive. Sarah rebuilt every row by hand, planting tomatoes, sunflowers, and hope in equal measure. A wooden sign stood by the fence, painted in simple words. Free produce for veterans. No questions. People began to come. Old soldiers, widows, children. Some left small medals, some just stood in silence. The town that once whispered now nodded when she passed. And one morning, a letter arrived without a return address. Inside was a photo. Terrence standing at a podium in Ottawa, holding a cardboard sign that read, "She saw me when I couldn't see myself." Sarah placed it beside the purple heart in her drawer and closed it gently, her reflection trembling in the glass. Outside, the wind moved through the garden, carrying the scent of new soil. For the first time in years, Brayfield felt like home again. And miles away, in a county jail, Sheriff Dunning sat in silence as his sentence was read aloud. 5 years for fraud, 2 for arson conspiracy. The town that once feared him now forgot him. Sarah didn't attend the hearing. She was too busy planting. The rain had returned that morning, soft and steady, just like the night everything began. But this time, she didn't flinch at the thunder. She stood barefoot in the garden, face lifted to the sky, and whispered, "Some storms are worth walking through." The seasons turned gently in Brayfield. The garden Sarah rebuilt had grown untamed, alive with color and quiet purpose. Each row carried a story, of struggle, of courage, of what survives after fire. She no longer looked for applause or recognition. She had learned that the real change happens when no one is watching. Sometimes veterans stopped by with rough hands and soft voices, asking if they could plant something small. Tomatoes, mint, a single rose. Sarah always said yes. Watching them kneel in the soil reminded her that healing wasn't about forgetting, but about choosing to grow anyway. One evening, as the sun dropped behind the pines, Liam ran across the yard holding a jar of seeds. "For next year," he said, breathless. Sarah smiled. "Then we'll need a bigger garden." In that simple exchange, she understood what Terrence had meant all along, that hope doesn't arrive with noise or medals. It's planted quietly, and it stays if you care for it. When the wind moved through the rows, it sounded almost like rain, the same rain that once brought a stranger to her door and changed everything. If this story touched your heart, help it reach others. Like, share, and subscribe to Canada's Heartfelt Tales, where every act of kindness becomes a story worth keeping alive.